Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today is the first day of me being your study partner. I'm really excited to be a part of this. Let's do this together. Let's start our first 5 questions.
The first question is, a 6-year-old female presenting with joint deformities had received multiple courses of vitamin D. Multiple courses of vitamin D here becomes a important point. It's a clincher with no improvement. This also becomes a clincher. Her lab values are given below. Calcium is 9.5, which seems normal. Phosphorus is 1.6 mg per dl. We'll come to this. Alkaline phosphate is 814 international units per liter. Even if you don't know the values and anything regarding this question, the other part is normal serum parathormone, serum electrolytes and serum creatinine. So this question comes to the point that if you don't know this concept, you can't answer this question. So to answer this question, you definitely need to know the concept of refractory rickets. Why I'm saying refractory rickets is, if it was a normal rickets with a proper course of vitamin D, it would have been decreased, but it didn't. So it's a case of refractory rickets. So how do we deal a case of refractory rickets? Let's say I have made a flowchart for you to make this thing easier. So what will happen in the case of refractory rickets is, they'll give us the pH. If it's anything related to the pH, they give us the pH that is less than 7.35. Majorly acidic pH. If it is an acidic pH, we can come down to either proximal renal tubular acidosis or distal renal tubular acidosis. So it's a confusion here. So the mostly 90% of the times don't give this renal tubular acidosis wala question. So let's read discuss renal tubular acidosis questions in next or some other video. But coming to the point over here, the next point we must check is the phosphorus or the phosphate values. First thing, when you see the phosphate values, whether it is high or low. If it is high and the PTH is low, that would be hypoparathyroidism. It is clearly depicting that if the PTH is low, of course it's hypoparathyroidism, and we can eliminate this option. And if the phosphate is high and PTH is also high, it comes down to chronic renal failure. Because with the PTH being high, the kidneys are not responding well. So phosphate is high, the body is not able to eliminate the phosphate, and the PTH is also high. That comes to chronic renal failure. But coming to this question, here the PTH was given normal. So when you see the entire flow chart over here, if you see the PTH normal, we can eliminate all other options. Not this. PTH is normal only in the case of hypophosphatemic rickets. That is X-linked hypophosphatemic rickets. So in the question, if you see a type of refractory rickets with phosphate low and PTH normal, if you don't know anything about the phosphate values also, if you see the PTH is normal, it's X-linked hypophosphatemic rickets. It's as simple as that. Coming to this question, when the PTH is normal, hypophosphatemic rickets, chapter close. It's as simple as that. So when PTH is high, you must check whether you must investigate for 25 hydroxy vitamin D3. If 25 hydroxy vitamin D3 is high, that is vitamin D dependent rickets type 1, because here there is deficiency of 1-alpha hydroxylase. So without 1-alpha hydroxylase, the 21 hydroxy vitamin D3 would be elevated. This is a kind of vitamin D dependent rickets type 1. If the PTH is high and 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3 is high, that is vitamin D dependent type 3, because 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3 is the active form of vitamin D, that is calcitriol. Even if this concentration is high, even though the concentration of the active form of vitamin D3 is high, still the patient is having rickets. That signifies that the patient is having end organ resistance to vitamin D3. So it's a case of vitamin D dependent rickets type 2. So this flow chart makes the question very simple, that if the PTH is normal, you need not check for any other values. just check for phosphate low and pTH normal. It will the answer would definitely be hypophosphatemic rickets. If the pTH is high, it can be either chronic renal failure or any of these two. So when the pTH is high, we think according to the question, if it is an elderly or they are telling any other points, it will clearly be chronic renal failure. But if they are sharing a image of a pediatric population or telling about a pediatric population, then it will come to these two. Then according to the options, we can decide between these two options. So coming to this question, here we can see clearly that a female population is given, and the major important thing over here is normal serum parathermone. Normal serum parathermone. So normal serum parathermone, we can eliminate vitamin D dependent type 1 rickets, because in this case the parathermone would be high. Vitamin D dependent type 2, also the parathermone would be high. Chronic renal failure, also the parathermone would be high. So here the answer would be X-linked hypophosphatemic rickets, because the parathermone is normal, and phosphorus, even if we know the actual value or not, seems to be low only. So here the answer is X-linked hypophosphatemic rickets. You can answer these questions only if you know the concept. If you know the concept of refractory rickets only, you can answer this question. And this question has been already repeated in NEET PG 24 and 21. So, and I have a stronger feeling that they would definitely give a question on rickets. If you see any question paper every year, a question on rickets or scurvy, or for that matter, the vitamin deficiency is must. So, I hope you understood the algorithm over here, how we solve this answer. I will also post a separate screenshot of this for you to revise. Coming to the second question, which pathway describes the synthesis of metabolically active vitamin D? So this seems to be a very simple question, because the active form of vitamin D3, metabolically active vitamin D, just now we have seen that is 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3. So the synthesis of metabolically active vitamin D, we have been discussing this since our inter days, but sometimes we find this confusing. Skin is the first thing, we know that, but is it liver or kidney? Sometimes we get confused. It's a fact, but sometimes we get confused. So to make it easy, just remember this in the order. First we have the skin, next in our body we have the liver, next we have the kidney. Just remember, things are in order over here, or you can remember SLK, silk. SLK, silk. This might be a very easy question for some of you, but some people also confused in this. So I have put this question over here. And I also want you to revise the pathway over here once the vitamin D we get from our sun. So the cholecalciferol, that is the vitamin D, in the liver, it forms the 25 hydroxy vitamin D, that's the calcidiol, which is the most common form of vitamin D. Then it reaches the kidney, where it in the presence of 1-alpha hydroxylase converts into 125 dihydroxy vitamin D, which is the calcitriol, which is the most active form of vitamin D. So what's happening in the case of vitamin D dependent rickets type 1 and vitamin D dependent rickets type 2 is that vitamin D dependent rickets type 1, there would be absence of 1-alpha hydroxylase, so 25 hydroxy vitamin D would be elevated. In the case of vitamin D dependent rickets type 2, 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3, which is the most active form of vitamin D, is present, but the body is unable to use it, so the patient would be having rickets. So that is end organ resistance. We have the vitamin D dependent rickets type 2 and only elevation of 25 hydroxy vitamin D, that is our vitamin D dependent rickets type 1. So please, this concept is really very important, so don't forget this concept. And for that matter, so the answer for this question would be skin, liver and kidney in an order. So coming to the third question, which is a tricky question, let's read this. Excessive administration of which vitamin causes macular edema and macular cyst? Whenever we think of macular edema and macular cyst, we think of some eye related things, so it might be vitamin A. We quickly come to an answer pertaining to this question, but the answer here is not vitamin A, it's niacin. Niacin, when given in excessive quantities, vitamin questions are also, they not only ask regarding the deficiencies, but they also ask regarding the toxicities. Here, excessive administration of which vitamin causes macular edema and macular cyst? Here the answer is niacin. Niacin is a very important question, and for that matter, vitamins itself is a very important question. So please make sure that you are covering vitamins topic at any cost, in all ways. In even if they ask any question pertaining to vitamins, you should be in a position to answer that, because vitamins are very important. Coming to question 4, I will display the image. After reading this question, which of the tests helps to identify the deficient vitamin of the above condition? So I have added the image over there. Casal's necklace. We know Casal's necklace. We know the deficient vitamin is niacin. We know that it causes pellagra. We know that it causes diarrhea, dementia, death. The 4 Ds, everything related to niacin, we already know it very perfectly. But we don't know the test which we do when to find out the deficient vitamin. I thought we must think like the examiner. So the examiner has asked all aspects regarding niacin. He sometimes gave the image directly about the Casal's necklace. Sometimes he gave what are the causes of that. Sometimes he also asked the causes of pellagra, like Hartnupp's disease. So this time he might ask, how do you test the person to know whether he has the vitamin D, niacin deficiency or not, B3 deficiency or not. So here, even if you don't know the options over here, you can rule out RBC transcritolis. This we would do for vitamin B1. This we know. RBC transaminase. This we do for vitamin B6. RBC glutathione reductase. With this we do for vitamin D2. You definitely need to revise all the tests for the deficient vitamins. So here, even by ruling out, we can come to the answer, that is erythrocyte NAD concentration would be the answer to find out the deficient vitamin. I guess I have done my job of solving the 4 questions over here, and they might be, I guess they're even helpful to you. Share this to your friend or a person who is preparing for NEET PG. It would be really helpful if so. See, there are 134 days to go to NEET PG. And
the 5th question that I have for you guys is, are you taking your recommended daily allowance of vitamins? We study about the recommended daily allowance of all vitamins, all minerals and everything, but we ourselves fail to eat healthy food. Preparing for NEET PG exam can be really exhausting, both physically and mentally. So we need to be healthy first to give 100%. We sometimes skip our meals or just eat whatever is easily available. It becomes more difficult when you stay in hostels. So please don't forget to eat healthy. Comment below in the comment section if you regularly eat fresh fruits. Thank you for watching the video up till now. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get the daily notifications. See you tomorrow. Bye.